Alright, so our next step and final step before we shoot is prepping the camera, or getting the shot set up and ready. So, like I've mentioned a bunch in this series, if you haven't watched any other episodes, make sure you go check them out. But in here, I've mentioned all the time how I want this to be one shot. Now the camera's gonna stay here, and that's it. It's gonna just stay here, looking at the character sitting here at the same shot for the whole thing. Alright, so we also have our script here, and this is where I look. Okay, for this scene, it's gonna be tripoded, so I'm gonna set up the tripod for sure. That's something that I'm gonna set up right now, and I want the shot looking sideways this way. Yeah. And yeah, so in the script, hopefully, depending on what you're doing and stuff, if you have movement, camera movement and stuff, hopefully you plan that out. I do believe that camera movement should always be pre-planned out. It should never just be, oh, this could be cool. And I mean, I guess you can, but camera movement should be planned out. The only film that I had that it wasn't planned, well, all of them, well, not all of them, but a lot of them, but they're, in woodwork, there was some camera movement in there. I don't know if we kept any of it, but there was some camera movement in there. And in like Guitar Guy, but that one was not super planned. All right, okay, so it's tripoded. So I have it on the tripod, and I should look, well, okay. The next thing I want to do before I even set up the frame is to make sure that it is set where I want. This is, since I'm not zooming in and out or anything, and on there I have it at 35 mil. So I'm gonna turn that zoom lens to 35 mil. And like I said, tape is glorious. So I have a piece of tape here. I'm gonna tape down that zoom lens, or the zoom portion of the lens, to make sure that it's not getting bumped, so that that zoom lens is staying put at 35 the whole time. All right, so now we're gonna take a look at the shot, and we may go like clear back here, just depends. Oh yeah, so pre-prep wise though, on this camera, I made sure that I had a fresh battery in there, and I do have a backup battery as well. I have SD card in there with enough space. And yeah, so, okay. Another thing, now this doesn't have to be like exactly what you do, but I do, sorry, my mind just completely trailed off there. I actually do really like that lighting setup, or like the ISO and everything. So I won't get too much into it now, but all of the camera settings. So I make sure that all the camera settings are where I want it. Want the aperture as open as possible, so f-stop is open. I make sure that the shutter speed is where I want, and then I make sure that the ISO is where I want as well. For a little tip here, ISO goes as low as possible. You never want your ISO high because that's digital light, and so that's always like not preferred to go high. All right. I like that, but now, okay, so I always do this. I always forget that I have to white balance it. So we are going to put that right there. Alright, okay. We are going to move this way forward and take a picture of our gray card. Now you may be like, why in the world would you do that? That's dumb, right? And so, ISO 800. Okay, so everything seems set. Let me actually check what's on your space. Alright, so then I put the gray card there, and I can focus on the gray card. Alright, so then I make sure that gray card takes the full frame. It has both lighting sources in there, and snap a pic of it. That's all that the gray card is for. But that is to get that picture. All right. Then I go back to video, and then I can go into menu, and you're not seeing this, but then I can do a custom white balance, which is always what you want. You never want an auto white balance. You can even get this with a piece of paper. There's a white side on here. It never works as well as the gray card does, but it still works. Ooh, there we go. Now I'm getting evening vibes from here. From this shot. Oh yeah, I am getting full-on evening vibes now. Because before, the shot was like really blue because of when I was recording YouTube videos last, the setting, I had really orange lights, so it balanced the color out to be more blue. And this time, although it is orange, it was way too blue. So now I'm getting those evening vibes in here, and I really love it. So great. So let me real quick put this away, because it's all gonna be that same shot. So the last thing, or actually, all right, so the last thing I'm gonna set up camera-wise, so I have all of my settings set up. My shot is set up for the most part. I haven't like blocked it in, well, I have blocked it, but in my head with the script. But I haven't like put stuff there and stuff. But the last thing I do with camera is put the autofocus thing on, because this camera does not have a remote feature unless I hook it up through Wi-Fi, and that just gets really annoying. So I have this really awesome remote thing transmitter to this remote so that I can autofocus it. So I'll turn that on actually and autofocus it as we speak. And it should be focused. Don't forget to check on that too, because there is always sometimes that chance that it like focuses like on some completely random thing. I don't know. It does that way too often. But yeah, so I make sure that is focused, that is there. And I also make sure frame rate is where I want it. You don't want to be shooting your film and you're shooting a slow-mo video before at 60 frames per second. You don't want to shoot your film at that either as well. So make sure that all settings are set. Get that white balance, set up the shot, focused it, and camera's set up and ready, audio set up and ready, lighting is set up and ready. I think we're ready to shoot.